Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there. Welcome back.
We are back, and this is kind of a shorter one, but there's a few things that we want to touch base on. Make sure that you are subscribed to all three channels. This is the newest Heart's Ohm, and again, you can link right over here and jump straight to EEARTS or jump straight over to Evolutionary or our website, Ko-Fi or Patreon. So each one of the channels has these quick links, which make it really easy to jump back and forth. Here is JB, and this is a tweet by Marjorie Taylor Greene, but everybody's jumping on this. And what does he say? He says, he mumbles at this meeting, and you see over here the Prime Minister of India right next to him. He says, I sold a lot of state secrets and a lot of very important things. Now, either he's absolutely bumbling, and completely senile, or he's just telling us the truth. You know, any way you look at it, this could only be out there in order to just make us frustrated. Yeah, that's what's really going on here. They have apparently the most incompetent, totally mentally incapacitated person of all time that supposedly got the most votes of all time. Apparently, supposedly, and of course many people woke up to the fact that these are figureheads and not really the real decision makers. And how could he make any real decisions? Well, the reality is he can't. And that doesn't mean that the one right before him was making decisions, or the one before that, or the one before that, or the one before that. It's always been an illusion.
I don't know. I'm just going to keep remaining hopeful and think about the art of war. And I'm going to be hopeful that they're pretending to just be idiots.
No. I mean, what can you say? Malaria found in Texas and Florida. 4 cases in Sarasota County, Florida, and 1 case in Texas. Brought into the U.S. by illegal aliens, so says AP. Well, again, think about it. Think about the tens of millions that have come across the border, many, searching for a new home, innocently enough, maybe promised things. Many have totally different motives underway. And malaria, as this tweet says, was eradicated in the USA until now. And it's a deadly disease. But again, there's a lot of things we can do naturally to boost our immune system. And many people are waking up, a lot of people are waking up to the fact that the system that we have is either completely incompetent, very, very ineffective, or it's not really based on helping people get better. What do you think?
I don't know. I think it's effective for them and their purposes.
Yes, the wallets,
Yep.
the bank accounts. Yeah, we could see that. The sickle maker has gotten appointed to a prestigious position, of course. And I was reading a tweet where it was talking about just exactly his place in history. And of course, the literal translation of FAUCI comes across as the sickle maker. You can't make this stuff up. It's right in front of our faces all the time. But there are natural things that can definitely help with things like malaria. Ginger, garlic, well, that's wonderful. Grapefruit. These are natural components that can, and we do. When I buy ginger, I buy it like 10 pounds at a time of powdered organic, and Cindy will put it into our own capsules. Garlic is incredibly potent. These things, they're so natural. There's really no side effects. Maybe some, bad breath with the garlic. But still, they're not going to harm you, and they're natural. grapefruit as well. As you see, malaria parasites multiply in red blood cells. Again, cinnamon, citrus fruits, fever nut, holy basil, orange juice, just, vitamin C in high doses, warm water enemas, and of course that would have to be, distilled. You'd want to do that as well. And just avoiding mosquitoes in the first place and eating, a healthy diet boosts your immune system. Many people have caught on to intermittent fasting. It's something that if you do it regularly, it's going to really help you in so many ways. It's going to help you to detox. So even just eating in a 8-hour window can really have its advantages. So, maybe that would mean skipping breakfast. Maybe that would mean skipping dinner. And, many people will progress from that to a 4 to 6 hour window of eating and giving the body a rest to purge, because, toxic overload is a serious reality in this world.
It is. And parasites just absolutely love sugar. And a lot of our normal sad diet across this country is made up of processed foods and sugar. I don't think you can go to the store and buy anything that's processed that doesn't have sugar in it. So a lot of these natural remedies I just wanted to mention with the garlic, you can chop it up and take it like a pill. You want to take like a clove of garlic and chop it up a little bit, but then let it sit out in the open air for 10 or 15 minutes so it can have those activated enzymes that really go in there and help with the parasite situation. So knowing that parasites just love sugar, I mean, that's what they're loading us with. And they're telling us this stuff is like so healthy for you, go drink and ensure you're going to have a balanced diet. You're going to be okay. Really, you're setting yourself up to be the perfect host for a lot of these things that are being spread around in some way, shape, or form. So I think with these like ginger, garlic, things of that nature, I think it's best to kind of have it and keep it in your system. And that way it's like, the mosquitoes and everything else are going to turn their nose up, and maybe your partner, but if it's true love, it's not a problem.
Yeah. And, again, this drives me absolutely crazy. This is from Ensure, right? And you'll find so many doctors will say, have an Ensure, because you're fighting cancer. And turbo cancer is a real thing. And the reality is we all have to be detoxing all the time. It's just got to be a regular part of your life. Look at the ingredients here. Doctors are telling people to take this. Ensure. Water, corn, maltodextrin. That's sugar. And then sugar. Sugar and sugar. Yeah. And look at, what else do we have in here? We have sucralose, known to cause cancer. Carrageenan, known to cause cancer. When a doctor tells you to take this, ask them exactly how long have you studied nutrition? How many hours did you have to have of nutrition to pass whatever? Because most states it's not much. 16 hours, 14 hours of nutrition, that's nothing. That is absolutely nothing. There's more stuff in here, natural and artificial flavorings. I wonder if it's got any of that hex stuff in there. Where that comes from. This is so cancer producing. If you want to feed cancer, have an Ensure. Insanity. And here we have JP Morgan board member and billionaire James Crown died from a car accident, supposedly. Was the chairman of the board of trustees of the Aspen Institute, was a managing partner of Aspen Ski Company, once considered to be Barack Obama's inner circle, appointed by Obama in 2014, served on his intelligence advisory boards. When you look at everything going on, some people are saying a lot of these guys are going they're going underground and not necessarily gone from the 3D life, but they're gone. They're in hiding. And then others think they're being taken out. It's again, I guess we have to look at each case individually.
You do, but as of late, looking at the things that we have going on around us, and keeping in mind that they really need some serious distractions from what they're actually doing. And then I look at the energy after they say someone has passed, and I'm not seeing anything. That's the problem. I can't see anything, which really raises red flags with me.
Yeah, again, the little contrail wiki. Well, they're just natural byproduct produced by the engines. Yeah, okay, well, I guess he had engine failure. Funny, it's not coming to the ground. Yeah, it's been nothing but an illusion, and it's just a matter of time before enough wake up, and they are waking up. But again, we got to wake them up as fast as we can. And here we see Colorado. We have a Spring Creek fire near Parachute, Colorado. It is that time of year, and it's just, again, like when every single day when I look, and somebody mentions the Canadian fires, the next words are climate change. See, and I always type arson. See. I mean, it's insanity, and it's agenda that's so obvious, but they still just keep going ahead. And these people that have decided to join these groups, because these groups reach out to you. They reach out to you. So when you look at these people like the Sickle Maker and that Dr. Peter and so many others, when they were approached and offered things, they jumped on it. What do you mean? My family will never have to worry about bills anymore or money anymore. Well, again, will you sell out humanity in order to better yourself? A lot of them do. The politicians do. And still you have people that will say, oh, you're nothing but negative. Why? Because, we're pointing out the fact that the entirety of the political system is corrupt. And, you took an interest and you believed in somebody and it hasn't worked out. Again, as P.T. Barnum said, a sucker is born every moment. And they take advantage of that. And we want to believe, it's natural human tendency to want to believe in that white horse savior. No, we are the ones that we are waiting for. That's the bottom line. We have to do this. Nobody's going to come. Nobody has tremendous amounts of money. And you can't make tremendous amounts of money in this system unless you're part of the system. It should be obvious at this point. Sure, there are some that might have a little bit more general interest in the betterment of humanity than others, because there's some that would just nudge you off a cliff for a few bucks. And then there's others that, no, they won't go there. But when you get down to it, they are all self-serving in order to get into that position.
And it is frustrating, but when you keep in mind that no matter what happens, there are karmic repercussions. Just because they can't see them up front, it doesn't mean there's not going to be some type of downward spiral with them, with other people that they're involved with. So a lot of this is just us having an understanding of what's going on, and then you release it. You let it go out to the ether. You let the energies deal with it, and they will, but we need to find a place of awareness so we know where not to feed our energy into.
Yeah, absolutely. There was a comment in Heart's Home that that was saying, I don't hear you speaking about CERN and HARP and increasing or having anything to do with the increasing Schumann resonance. That's because they're not intended to increase frequency. They're not intended to raise vibrations. They are part of the problem. Right. And no, they're not going to raise the frequency. What's raising the frequency is really the original programming of the original Matrix. So in effect, Source and the creator of this universe. And when we look to Harp and CERN, those are absolutely things that are all about controlling things in a negative way. So they're not going to increase our frequency. They're not going to raise the frequency of the planet.
Well, no, I mean, CERN and HARP have two totally separate purposes, and one is to definitely open up certain portals, and I have seen that happen. I have witnessed that happen. Portals coming open and a whole lot of entities coming through, and then a whole slew of people coming forward to us saying, hey, this is going on, that's going on, I need some help, I don't know what's happening. And these dark energies, they take advantage, they go through these portals and then they start to feed, and HARP has a whole different energy about it, when it comes to controlling certain things around the planet. Now, the planet, the vibration is going to raise all on its own through Source. And this is that very painful separation of energies that we're going through right now.
Yeah, and I do appreciate the comments that I see out there by a lot of new people too coming in, not just the regulars, but new people finding their way through this extremely tough control grid that wants to keep what we share away from the masses, because what we share is kind of it's a blunt reality at times. And yeah, of course, there are those that have been saying forever, hey, it's all roses. Tomorrow you're waking up in 5D. And we've been saying they're planning a third world war. They're planning to release more craziness upon us. They're going to crash the economy. And they are infiltrating within the migrants and the illegal immigrants sleeper cells, which are doing and creating havoc and have been for months now. So yeah, ultimately we are leaving the darkest of dark ages, and we are coming out into a better age, but we're in the Bronze Age, and we're not really going directly to the Golden Age. An individual has the possibility to ascend. And one of our most beloved people that we worked on every other week was a gentleman that suffered a stroke 13 years ago, was bedridden but stayed positive. And only recently now we've lost him from our 3D reality. But again, the DRs were telling him a couple years. You have a few years. He made it like 12, 13 years. Why? Because he did the opposite of everything that they were telling him to do. They would say, okay, you got to do this. And he'd say, no, I don't. I'm not. And he was a veteran, and he would go, and every time he'd go, he'd notice less and less of his, friends were around until it was just him. And yet, because he wanted to see ascension and the Golden Age, he would listen to channels that were giving you all fluff, nothing but whipped cream and honey, so to speak, without giving you the reality. Don't worry, it's all going to change, and we're going to avoid this, we're going to avoid that. No, we got to go through this storm. The storm is upon us, and we have to wade through the storm. We wish we could just skip and go straight to go. But we're here because of this purpose. And this is all about soul growth. Why would we come here in this time? Well, because the darkest times give you the greatest opportunity for the most growth.
Oh, they sure do. So understanding that darkness is your greatest teacher, even though it is very difficult and very painful. Whenever these emotions or these situations are jabbing you in the ribs and you can really feel it, natural instinct is to find a way out of it. And the controllers, they usually provide a very quick way out of it, but we have to find the true way out of these situations and really heal from the soul, from a very deep part of ourselves. And going through this, you can change your consciousness, you can change your vibration so that these situations, maybe they're not going to touch you as much. But there's no way around it. You can't just skip around it and pretend that it's not happening. We are all in this 3D reality together. We're all walking through this together. But you can change the way you see things. And I think that's the key point.
You know, back in 2017, I was going to mention this and I was starting to forget to. Going back to the malaria thing, a friend reached out to me, a Qigong friend reached out to me and said, would you work on this young man? And it was a friend of a friend. He was in Africa, I believe Kenya, and he was really sick with malaria and bedridden, and they thought he was going to die that night. So, you know, I did energy work on him, and they were able to give him a cell phone, and he was just lying in bed, and his friend was holding his cell phone so I could focus on him, and did energy work. He fell sound asleep, and he woke up, and the fever had broken, and he was fine. And he said, I just don't understand it. I'll just take it as a blessing from God and just thank you. And, you know, so this is the type of thing that we are going to be able to do in this time period. This is why, again, they are doubling down on everything that's not natural. And energy work is natural. Through putting your intention out there. Again, and Cindy said this so many times, whether you want to call it prayer or doing a ritual, or you could look at it like it's a spell, or getting rid of the demons. It doesn't really matter. It simply is putting intent. Now, when you do it from a qigong, and especially a medical qigong standpoint, you are understanding thoughts are things, and visualizations of certain colors, for instance, have a certain frequency attached to them. So, you do things in a particular sequence. And, this in this case, it definitely did not hurt, and he did recover. Would he have recovered? We'll never really know. I mean, he wasn't doing too good, but again, you don't really know. But we worked on thousands of people. And, again, most we have been able to help. It depends on the person. It depends on their higher self. Is their higher self keeping them from getting better because there's a lesson they haven't learned? I mean, that's what came to me when I was going through a lot of health problems. It was that, I even heard either my higher self or one of my guides tell me, if you stay on this path, you're not going to see your 40s, because this is not the path that you set out to do. And you have, waylaid yourself. You've gone down a dead end, and then we're just going to have to do this all over again. So, and I'm sorry for diverging too much. I just wanted to share that with you guys. So there are reasons why sometimes people don't heal, and they could be reasons that are karmic, or truly it's the fact that, for whatever reason, we haven't realized something that we intended to do before we came into this life, and somehow we are on the wrong path.
Mm-hmm. And through energy work and realization, if you keep running into a brick wall, this is where the energy work can help. It can at least shine a light on that realization so that you can finally heal, so you can see what you need to see and make adjustments. But yeah, I mean, I like to break it down like this. Christians call it prayer, spiritualists call it manifestation, atheists call it a quantum, but really we are all harnessing the same energy. When we make ourselves into a vessel and we use alchemy processes and we send this energy through us to another, to reach another, to help bring healing. There's no reason to fight over how it's done or what it is. It's the same thing, and we all have access to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we were just talking over on Heart's Home about entrainment and the Schumann and, the cycle of the yugas and then also the coming cosmic superwave. Meanwhile, in Japan, you have a group releasing images of likely UFOs. Oh yeah, disclosure. We've gotten it. It's been here for quite a while if we've been paying attention. But the fact is, most people don't pay attention. So now it's starting to hit the mainstream, and it's going to completely paradigm shift everything about our reality. But they have to do this now because they're getting close to certain key times. And again, we've touched on the fact that there are certain treaties that are coming up of a galactic nature. And one of them was in 2025. And then we wonder why we see those DEA, GEL numbers, because again, it's kind of the power structure. Just, again, when you negotiate a treaty, you negotiate a treaty either from a position of equality, strength, or subservience. And so what they're trying to do is when they throw out numbers like that, it could be a way of saying, hey, the key points that we want better happen, or right. So you have Canadian members of Parliament saying Canada and the Allies hiding recovered UFO materials in secret letter to Defense Minister, which again, multiple sources say this has been verified. It is legit. And you got Marco Rubio saying David Grush is not going to be the only UFO whistleblower that's coming forward in the coming days, as others currently in high-level positions in the U.S. government with direct first-hand knowledge have as well. So, yeah, they have to tell you because, they know you're going to be seeing them firsthand in the future. This is a photo. Let me get your opinion on this, guys and gals out there. A Vermont trail camera photo was obtained September 3rd, 2010 by a man named Frank. Frank and his wife live in rural property in western Vermont. Vermont's so gorgeous, such a beautiful state. They own several acres backed up against a large expanse of privately owned forest. On their property, there are 18 fruit trees specifically planted and maintained to bring in wildlife for Frank's and his wife's viewing pleasure. In their front yard's a decent-sized pond which contains numerous trout, and just down the road from the property is another even larger pond, several acres in size. Surrounding hills are steep, thickly wooded, making the area an excellent habitat for all sorts of creatures. And it has a history of Bigfoot activity as well. Well, here you go. A trail cam took a photo here. As you can see, it does look like this is the head. It's hunched over. Somebody has noted that they think there's a baby hanging on and that this is a mama Bigfoot. I'll give you guys the links as always. It's from cliffbarrickman.com. And this is its back. And, does it have something like mange? As you see, patches of hair are not there. Now, if this is somebody in a suit, why would they even think? Would they even think to make it look mangy? Very, very curious, is it not? And look at the time.
I know. I thought this was a really cool picture, and it holds a lot of interesting energy. And then the noted on the time, 5:55. But yeah, I mean, these beings do have trouble too. If they are not feeling well, they're going to look for easier sources of food. They're going to look for healthier food. They're going to look for safer places to be, especially if maybe something happened to their partner. So they're going to want to be in a safe place. And then when you are under stress, you are more susceptible to things like mange, things like mites that could lose the hair.
Absolutely. And here's the Pope meeting with his dad. Yeah, I think that was a meeting that went quite well. How are things going, son? Going well, Dad. We got these people fooled. Yeah. It's probably not too far off. But have fun, guys. Yes, nothing says we can't have fun We can have fun. We should have fun. This little guy's having fun. Boy, he like that. Look at this guy go. Look at him go. He's going to do it all over again. Here you go. And then we have a new family member coming home. And the big guy says, I got you. I'll take care of you. We'll be gentle now. We'll play a little rougher later, but I'll always know that, you're part of the family.
Indeed, definitely. We all have the same consciousness. We all go through a vessel and have these experiences. And, we can be in all different shapes and sizes and still connect with one another.
Hey, why you looking at us? Hey, give a guy some privacy here. Can a guy and his girlfriend just have a little intimate moment here?
I know. He's just going to sit there and let all that happen there.
Yeah, I mean, again, if cats and dogs can get along, we sure should be able to.
Indeed.
As always, guys, thanks for your support on Ko-Fi and Patreon. If you need to make an appointment, it's evolutionaryenergyarts@gmail.com. Much love, God bless, and namaste.
Namaste.